Hello, millionaires. Welcome to the Millionaire Money Podcast, episode 6. Today, we're going to be talking about how myself and my husband went from homeless to 11 streams of income in just 3 years. And I'm going to be sharing all the details about exactly what our streams of income look like. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. So we are going to be talking about how we went from homeless to 11 streams of income in just 3 years. And in this episode, I just have 2 caveats as we get started. So one of them is this episode will actually probably be double the length of our normal episodes, just because I'm going to be going in depth and giving a lot of details that you're not necessarily going to find in a lot of places. So make sure that you have a pen and paper. I know I say that for every episode, but more than ever before, in this episode, you are going to need a pen and a paper and full focused attention to make sure that you actually capture everything that I'm going to be sharing with you. The second caveat that I'm just kind of letting you know right out the gate is we are just coming out of, I think, 4 days of a ridiculous, life-changing, mind-blowing retreat with a group of clients we have called our Millionaire Mastermind folks. And I've talked for the last 56 hours. So if you guys are hearing my voice and you're like, oh my gosh, is this the same girl? It is the same me, just 56 hours of speaking later. And if I take a lot of pauses because I'm drinking some water, that's what's going on. That's what's up. But yes, let us get into this conversation. Make sure you have a pen, a notebook, and make sure you take a lot of notes. All right, so we're going to be talking about different streams of income. And before we just get into all of the stuff of it, I just want to share with you the reason why I thought this was an important episode to cover. One, because I found that there's a lot of wealth building terms that have become buzzwords in our time right now. In this year, this season, one of them is generational wealth. And everyone wants to talk about generational wealth. And you ask people, what are you doing? Well, I'm just building my generation wealth. And it sounds so cool. It is such a buzzword. It sounds juicy. It sounds great. But what I am noticing is that most people actually have zero idea what that even means, how to make it happen, and how to make it something tangible for themselves and for their families. And so what they do is they get in these circles where everybody's just I'm just building generational wealth, and it sounds so cool and it sounds so good, but it's out of the 10 people that are speaking, there's maybe one of them that's actually building something that would be classified as generational wealth. And one of the things that I learned in my journey of going from homeless to multi-millionaire with all these streams of income is the only way you can actually leave an inheritance for your children's children is by learning streams of income. I'm going to say that again. The only way that you can actually leave an inheritance for your children's children's children is by learning these principles about money that most people are simply too busy or too lazy to take the time and actually learn about. I'm being very honest. We are often willing to work hard on a physical level and work hard in tangibles, but we choose to be lazy when it comes to working our brain to learn these other parts of what it looks like to make money work for us. And for a lot of people, it's because I'm just so tired, Toyin. I'm just so busy, Toyin. I'm just so all the different excuses that we give. But what that actually ends up creating is a place where the only thing you have to offer in your older age is a paycheck. And here's the thing. You won't be able to give your children a paycheck, or even whether it's from your business, that paycheck at the age of 75, because you cannot continue to work all of your life for money. There's going to come a point where you're not going to be able to work at that level any longer. All right, I'm going to be taking a lot of sips of water for this episode. And I have a big old water bottle. If you guys are listening to the podcast by audio, you don't need to see my water bottle. But if you're watching it on the YouTube video, I have my big old water bottle. So just give me 1 second. All right. So if you don't understand this, if you don't learn and take the time to learn the laws of money. Now, guys, in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you just one of the multiple laws of wealth building and laws of money. And this is so critical you understand this is just one, because if you take this one and you're like, oh my gosh, this is it, this is going to make the biggest difference and blah, 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 but you don't take time to learn all of the laws of money. Like, I don't want any of you to have a piecemeal approach to creating wealth and to creating generational wealth. Like, one of the things that I've learned is the reason it worked in my life and the reason it worked for my family and for the clients that we work with is because we don't just do one. We do all of the different ways that you are going to be able to create that financial foundation that you're looking for yourself and for your family. So yes, I am going to be sharing with you one of those pieces, but please understand that to try to implement this in absence of all the other pieces of what it looks like to follow the laws of building wealth is literally like trying to build a cake with eggs. Right? So eggs is part of the recipe for baking a cake. I just said building a cake. Eggs is part of the recipe for baking a cake. So is flour. So is yeast, depending on what you're using, if you're not using it right out of the box. So let me even talk about baking bread, because I'm an expert bread maker, whatever. I bake bread. And if you try to do every single thing in that recipe, but you don't put yeast, this bread will fall flat. And if you try to do everything in that recipe and you have the yeast, but you don't have flour, that bread will not taste like bread. It's going to be some type of fried milky egg thing, okay? So I'm just saying that to say I am sharing with you a lot of information related to streams of income, but having the right streams of income, building the right streams of income, understanding streams of income is one law of money when there are multiple layers of the laws of money that we sat down to learn in order to make this one element begin to work. Okay, now if you don't take the time to learn all of that, you actually start to work for money instead of having money begin to work for you. The average person has one stream of income, which is their job or their business, and there is no problem with having one stream of income, because guess what? You need to be able to pay for your family, to have food, and to have all those pieces. So having one stream of income is a really, really good thing. Good job. If you're listening to this and you've got one stream of income, way to go. And I mean that. I am not being sarcastic. You have to start somewhere. In fact, when we started, my one stream of income was barely a stream of income. It was like a desert. It was like the, you know, those taps when you turn them off and the tap just keeps dripping that little bit of a drip. That's what my stream of income looked like when I first committed myself to learning all of this. So I just want to say, guys, if I can do this, you can do this. Okay. If our family could go from where we started to where we are right now, this is simple. You just have to learn, tuck, get behind the people who know what they're doing, who've actually been where you are. And oh my gosh, that reminds me of one other thing that I'm going to say about this. There is a difference, guys, between learning from people who got born with a trust fund, learning from people who have just had all of it kind of handed to them, and they want to tell you, well, this is how you do it and this is how you make wealth. If you learn from someone who doesn't understand where you're starting and what it looks like to feel like you're almost sometimes starting from ground zero, like I am going to be the first millionaire in my household, you know, I am going to be the first person to 100 million in my household. If the person that is teaching you doesn't understand that dynamic, there's going to be things that they're going to tell you to do with money, and you're looking at them and they're looking at you and you're going, but where am I going to find that money to do that thing that you're telling me to do? So it's very important the way that you learn as well. Okay, so here's what people will normally tell you when it comes to needing to build different streams of income. Most people never even tell you anything about that. There's usually never any conversation around that. For most of us, when we were growing up, our parents taught us the good, nice principles of work hard, save money. How many of you guys listening had your parents tell you that? Work hard, save money. Type it in the comments. Let me know. Work hard, save money. If you work hard and you save money, you're going to be okay financially. How's that working for you? How did that work for them? And so I'm not saying this to be facetious, whatever you guys want to call it. Hey, I don't get paid to teach you grammar, right? But I'm not saying it to be okay, I'm not even going to try that word again. I'm not saying it for that reason. I'm being genuine. It doesn't work that way. Like, work hard, save money. Another one, wealth principle, or principle of building wealth, building income, building this stuff, but it's not the full picture. And most of us, we follow that dynamic for trying to build wealth. So we work hard. We work hard and we work hard. I've done enough conversations about working hard. I'm not going to get into it. And then we save money and we put it in the account, and you put it in the savings account, and you put it in the savings account. And then you need the money. So you take out the money, and then it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. You save, it's there, it's gone, it's over. You start all over again. You work hard, you save, it's there, it's gone. You start all over again. And you literally have to do it over and over and over and over again before some people start to wake up to realize, oh wait, hold up, we've been here before. This looks familiar. I have saved money, spent the money, and here we are again. And it's actually really cool because lately we've had quite a lot of people who have come to work with us who are noticing this pattern about themselves, where they do work hard, they do save money, but for some reason that money isn't working for them. And they're like, they finally wake up and they're like, oh my gosh, I think there has to be a better way. And now the main reason this is a problem, guys, is not just because you save money and the money is gone, but it's because when you do it through this one stream of income, you're always dependent on your time. Like most people, if you are sick and you're not able to show up for work, there's no more income for you. Or if you take a vacation. Now, some of you guys may be salaried and you have sick days and you have benefits and all of that. But at the most part, you understand that while I'm not present, my income is at least not growing. And if you run a business, it's that much more evident. It's very obvious to business owners because we understand that principle of, in an active business, if you don't show up, you're not getting paid. And so most people settle for that. And even when they think, at least I'm getting paid while I'm sick or I'm on vacation because I'm on salary or because my business is going to continue going, they know that their income isn't actually growing. So it may still keep coming in, but it doesn't mean it's actually multiplying while they are off and their hands are off of that stream of income. The other thing about depending on one stream of income, guys, is you can't give away time. Like, you can't give your time to somebody else. So even though you can give money, and when you give the money, it brings you back to square one, when you try to how do I give in such a way that I have more than enough? When you give out of income that comes from something that is dependent on your time, I mean, you're still going to give, guys. I'm not telling you don't give. I'm just saying that if you haven't learned how to make the money multiply, it doesn't replenish itself. So you find a lot of people who will give and then they're starting from ground zero to build all over again, to give again. And giving is good. Please understand me. Giving is a principle in the kingdom. It's a principle for wealth building, but you need to learn the other parts of building wealth and having that income and having that dynamic that allows you to give freely and extravagantly without feeling like you're going back in time. Now, when people don't get this, what they do is they lose time, because money actually requires time to grow. So a lot of people, because they're comfortable with the income that they're earning, or they're comfortable in the business that they're running, they don't do the homework to learn from the best on these matters. So they stick to doing the same thing they've been doing, and they're not seeing that growth and that scale, and they're satisfied with it. But the time that it would take for those other streams of income to bloom, because streams of income don't just show up and it's like all of a sudden it's giving you the most it can. It takes time to grow. It takes time to bloom. And the longer you wait to learn, to throw yourself at this, is the longer it takes for those things to be able to grow and to bloom. Honestly, guys, if I'm going to be real with you, I told y'all we are going to take our time in this episode and we're going to go into every single stream that I have and that, like, all of it, okay? But one of the best things that I think I ever did from 3 years ago, when we were living with my sister and then living with my parents and then living with my aunts, 3 of us in one bedroom for each of those places, like, one of the best things I did was when I realized that wealthy people treat money a different way from the way I was treating money. I literally threw myself into the exact right rooms to learn exactly what that looks like. Like, I personally stopped pretending that I knew all the answers. And I admitted to myself that if I knew all the answers, I would at that point already have had 11 streams, 7 streams even. Give me 7 streams. I don't even need 11. Give me 7. And my own house. And I would have said, okay, at least you know something. But I had to admit to myself that, look, there is something that they know that I don't know. And as soon as I saw that, guys, I threw myself into becoming a student with the best of the best, so that not only could I learn how to do it for myself, but so that I could do it in the most accelerated timeline possible. Hence why 3 years later we have 11 streams of income that I could buy a whole car. I remember setting the goal in the beginning. Well, it wasn't in the beginning. In the beginning, my goal was to have a home for my family, to have a house. But at a point we had the house, and I set this goal of, like, I want to have a car not from earned income. Y'all heard that? I said, I want to have a car that is not coming out of earned income, that is coming out of passive income, and then being able to get that car. And I was like, okay, this thing is real. This thing is working. So here's what it looks like for me. Since we're talking about me, I'm just going to get into some of it. Now, I'm going to share with you guys some of the different streams of income. Some of them are passive, some of them are active. Now, just for you to understand, when I'm sharing my own examples to you, this is my way of telling you some of the different things that are available to you as well. So this isn't just Toyin sharing her journey because I want to be cute and cool and talk about myself. No, I'm using myself as a case study, because if you can start from homeless and nothing, then that is, I think, one of the best case studies that anybody can have. Because if you're starting with $1 million, you're going to be able to duplicate this in an accelerated way with the right support. And if you're starting with $50,000, same deal. If you're starting with $0, same deal. I got all of y'all. So please understand, I am not sharing this detail, this list, out of a place of wanting to just show. It is, for me, a way to show you guys in very tangible, practical terms what this can look like. Okay, so that's something else I just wanted to share with you. Now, let's talk about the different streams of income. Some of them are active, some of them are passive, some of them are highly taxed, some of them are, you can leverage them so that you can pay as little taxes as possible on them. And, like, just so you understand, when I started this journey of, okay, I'm gonna have different streams of income, it really was a dream. Like, it felt like an impossible dream, but it was a dream. Like, I didn't have this handed to me. We did not have this handed to us. I had heard that it was possible. I had been in these rooms where I'm hearing these hecto-millionaires, and we're going to do a whole session of like 8 episodes where I'm going to share with you guys things that I learned from the hecto-millionaires that I got around in that season. But, you know, I saw from these people how they were able to make money begin to work for them. And even though I was starting with like barely nothing, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to create this, like, I wrote it down. I created this pathway for myself to go from 0 streams to 8 streams of income. And it wasn't 0, like I said, it was 1, but the 1 really sucked. So technically it was more like 0. All right. So how do I do it? And I created this pathway to walk myself and my family from where we started all the way to 8 streams. And that is literally some of the stuff that I share with our clients, because when I created it, it was a dream and then it worked. And then it didn't just work for me, but it actually worked for tons and tons of clients of mine who are now investing in multiple different things and are able to build and scale and take breaks and enjoy themselves and grow money and not have to feel like they're chained to their job or chained to their businesses any longer. Now, as I prepared for this podcast, I had logged into a bunch of our different accounts just to see the numbers and see the data. And I realized that, so initially I had been saying like 8 streams of income, 8 streams of income, 8 streams of income. And then I realized when I looked at it that as a family, we actually have 11 streams of income. And no, first of all, I know some of y'all have seen in my Instagram, Facebook that my daughter recently got a multiple 5-figure deal for acting. This does not include my children's income because this young woman already has her own thing going, right? This does not include any of that, any income she is getting. Thank God we are good enough that, we're at this place where any income she's getting is completely her own, and she's gonna turn 18 and she's gonna be like, yeah, that's right, that's what's up, that's what's happening. So that's the first caveat, because I don't want y'all to think that that's some of the counting that we're counting. Okay, we're not counting children. You don't count your children as part of your income. Okay. 2, I started off thinking that we actually had 8 streams of income. And what I saw when I looked at the data and the numbers is we actually have 11 streams of income, but there are 8 overall sections to this income. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to review the 8 sections, but then within the 8, there are 11 because some of these sections, I have multiple streams in that section. So put it in the comments and let me know that you understand what I mean by this. I'm going to be explaining this process in 8 categories, but as a family, we have 11 streams of income. Now, let me just say this. Who the heck cares? Like, seriously, who cares? I know if you're like me, when I'm listening to something like this, I'm like, listen, girl, you don't have 1 stream. That's all I need to know, right? Like, when I started, I had 1. Now, I don't have 1. I have more than 1. That's what matters for real, for real. Whether it's 8, whether it's 11, whether it's 50, who cares? Let's get into it. All right. So, 8 streams of income, or 11. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I'm going to do it as the 8 potential streams of income. That's what I'm going to do. 8 potential streams of income. But my title is still accurate because we have 11. All right. So the first potential stream of income that we have, and I'm going to go over just a big list of what we have as a family, and then I'm going to explain the 8 different sections in a way that anybody can understand them. So our streams of income are active. One of our active streams is active business. So I run a business that I participate in, and that's part of our active business, active income. And then I also do like workshops and speaking and music engagements where I actually show up and I get paid to sing. And so all of those pieces are active income that we receive. We also receive real estate, rental, passive income. And I'll explain why it is passive, because for us, we structured it so that we are not actually like landlords, doing the full-time work of caring for a property, because you can have rental income that is active because that is the active business that you're doing. And then you can have rental income that is passive. And there's actually multiple different ways that you can have passive rental income. All right. We have dividends from investments. We have interest income. We have high yield savings accounts. We have profit income. We have affiliate passive type of income. So like Amazon associate links and that sort of thing. We have residual and royalty income. So I receive royalties from a book that I wrote. Actually, oh my gosh, I just realized this. This is for both me and my husband. We both receive royalties from book sales that we've both had, as well as from albums that we've both produced. So we have royalties that come in from those. We have capital gains income, and let us get into all of these, okay? So like I said, have your pen and paper out. So the first type of income, which most people have, is earned income. And earned income is where you get paid for your time, right? So it's active income. This is honestly, this is a good income stream because it pays the bills and it is your income machine. And my clients know I always talk to them about building that income machine. That's what we help them to do. We help them to build their income machine to such a place that it can start to do all this fun stuff, right? But this is your income machine, and it's a good thing to have an income machine. The one thing about it is it can be dangerous because a lot of people get comfortable with earned income. And the problem with earned income is there is a ceiling on how much you can earn. Even if you are earning $1,000 every single hour you show up, there is a cap on how much you can earn because you got to show up to earn that income every single time. And so it doesn't matter what your field is. It doesn't matter whether you run an online business, whether you are a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, whatever type of business you run or job you do. If you are getting paid to show up, it's earned income, and it's not the best way to build that financial freedom. It is an income machine that can help feed these other income machines, but you need to know how to leverage earned income. Otherwise, you're just sitting down. You're wasting time, okay? The other thing about earned income is you get taxed a lot on earned income. Like earned income, you are able to be taxed. Like if you live in America, you could be taxed up to like 40%. If you live in Canada, you could be taxed up to 53%. I think in Canada, we pay up to 53% of everything we earn in tax. Some sort of tax somewhere to somebody. That's more than half of what you're earning. So you have to keep that in mind as well. The second type of income is profit income. And this is something that can be both passive income as well as active income. Essentially, it is taking a product from like buying a product at one level, selling it at another level. Some people do this in a active way. So you see a lot of people who will run Amazon type businesses where they're flipping product all day, every day. So that's one way of doing it. And then some people do it in a passive way where, and another way that people will do this as well is like Etsy. There's many different platforms for it. But then it can also be passive in that it can be digital products that you make available. And I have like an Amazon associate account, and I don't think about that one at all. Like I've just set up different places where I have the links there, and if people take from it, they take from it. If they don't, they don't. But I do get checks and I do get paid from that stream. Okay? And with the taxes on that one, it depends on how you set it up. That determines how you pay the taxes on that. The third stream of income is interest income. And so interest income is where you make certain investments and you receive an interest percentage on it. And many of us are used to interest. Like for those of you who are wondering how interest works, like all of us know interest. If you have any sort of debt, you are paying interest, okay? This is being the person who gets paid from that interest. And so there's many different ways that you can do this. There are treasury bonds, CDs, savings bonds, or treasury bills, savings bonds, CDs, and all these things, certificates of deposits that you can put your money into. And they're like, these ones are like the safer ones in quotation because nothing is ever safe. Everything is a risk. But there's these places you can put your money and you have this percentage that you're going to receive from it. Now, the examples I just gave were some of the lowest percentages that you can receive from your money working for you. However, it's higher than interest savings accounts, right? So you have savings accounts where a lot of people, this is what they do with their money. They put their money in savings accounts, and what they don't know is that the longer your money is sitting in a savings account, your money is depreciating in value. Hear me, it's depreciating in value because it's growing at a rate that's often lower than inflation. This is not a math lesson, so I'm not going to get into all of it. But so we personally have companies that we have invested into specifically that pay us about 15% on our investment into them. And so that's one of our interest income. Plus we have other stocks and stuff that give us that interest income. Okay. The fourth type of income is dividend income. So now this is also investing in stocks, but this is a different type of stock where the companies will actually pay out a dividend to you. They do it either quarterly on a different schedule. One of our companies will pay out the dividends every month. And so with dividend income, you're able to earn that income. And what a lot of people will do is they'll reinvest the dividend income back into the company and into the investment so that it begins to grow on itself. You're taxed differently on dividend income as well. But I'm not going to go into all the implications of which type of income stream you invest in, actually, now that I think about it. So I'm not going to go into the different implications tax-wise and all of that. One of the things I'll say is if you're serious about creating these other streams of income and seeing which one is the best one, of course, you can go and book a call. But we'll get to that after. Now, what is the fifth stream of income? So the fifth stream of income that we have is rental income. And so what that looks like is you have something. It doesn't have to be a house, okay? But you have some sort of property and you are renting it out to other people. So it can be a home. And even when you talk about a house or a building, it can be residential, it can be commercial. And let me just say this, you don't have to become a landlord to have rental income coming in. You are able to, I'm not plunging toilets when toilets break. I am not shoveling driveways. But more than that, you are able to do many different ways of having rental income. In the generation we live in, you can rent your car. You can rent the home that you're living in, like a short-term rental, Airbnb. You can rent equipment that you have if it's specialized equipment that other people need. You can rent music instruments. There's many different ways you can get rental income. However, not all rental income is equal. So for example, renting out your car is going to pay you a certain amount, but it's going to be very different from renting out a home or a commercial property. And also the amount of turnaround, upkeep, all of that is also dependent on where you choose to have that rental income. And so if you know me, you know that I like to be the most hands-off. Let me do the thing I really want to do. Let me enjoy my life. Let me be present to my life. So when I give you guys all of these income streams, I am not out here pursuing the different types of income and doing this and doing that and running all over the place, because that's not my dream. My dream is not watching money and making money. My dream is making money work for me so I can do the things I'm actually put on this planet to do, which I know is yours as well. Let's keep going. Number 6, we get residual and royalty income. So this is where you are paid after doing a job once. For example, me and my husband are professional musicians. Both of us have albums. He has one called Sparrow. I have multiple albums: Living Out Love, Broken Spirit, Contrite Heart, Declaration of Dependence, Love Letters. So we have these different albums that we've put out there. Until today, these songs are genuinely amazing. And so of course, people are still listening to the songs. Every single time these songs are played on Spotify, on YouTube, Apple Music, wherever they're played, we receive a monthly payment from SOCAN, which is one of the kind of music distribution companies, the company that kind of pays out artists for putting music out there. And so we get paid through SOCAN very consistently. And then the other piece about it is our books. I'm a published author of the best-selling book, Money Mindset Shift. Go get your copy. It's right. If you're watching the video, it is right here, that book right there. So if you don't have a copy of Money Mindset Shift, you definitely want to go find your way to Amazon and get it. Why? Because the book actually details a lot of those inner secrets and what the process was for us to go from where we started to where we are right now, and how I created this level of real dramatic transformation in my life, but also in the lives of a lot of our clients. Anyway, so I released this book. I am not, once again, like I told you guys just now, I'm not out here trying to make money work from all these different income streams. So when I released the book, I did a blast and a launch and all that wonderful stuff. It was a bestseller and it's doing very well. And I legit, y'all, forgot about this book. In terms of, I don't push it much. Like, I'll go on podcasts and I don't even talk about the book. They bring it up. I'm like, oh yeah, the book, that's great. You know, people buy the book because the book literally answers their questions, and then people refer each other to buy the book. But from me, I do not do any active pushing of the book. Like, I don't have a book marketing plan, or I don't have ads going to the book, nothing. And I think it was like 2 years later, I checked one of our other accounts that I hadn't checked in like a year and a half or something like that. And evidently that's where I had told the book royalty money to go to. And I remember checking that account and being like, what the heck is this money doing here? Like, what is this money for? And it was like, okay, it's coming from our distribution company, as well as we had money coming in from Amazon. And I'm like, is it my Amazon Associates account? This can't be that, because this is a lot more than what comes in from there. And after digging and going back to the back end, I realized that it came from book sales for both myself as well as for my husband. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty cool. You can literally set it and forget it, as long as it's an actually good book. Like, don't write some sort of like nonsense book, put it up on Amazon, and then just kind of cross your fingers hoping that people are going to buy it. The reason a lot of people buy both of our books, like he has a children's book that's all about like not living in stereotypes, right? Like not having stereotypes about one another. And in our cult, he wrote it before 2020 and before everything that's been happening, but it's such a deep heart book for children that his book as well has been selling really well, even though we have zero marketing around both of our books. And so one other caveat I'm going to say about the book and the music piece is, a lot of people have this idea that I'm going to write a book and the book is going to make me a millionaire. And I'm just going to be honest and say, this isn't how I've seen it work for many of the millionaires that I have met, okay? Writing a book, getting residual income, getting those royalties from the book is nice, it's good, but I haven't seen anyone use the book outside of using the book in marketing areas and other different things, just the book sales making them the first million. So I just want to give that caveat, because I hear that this is like another one of those buzz things. Like, if I write a book, I'm going to become a millionaire, and people will waste years thinking the book is going to make the difference, where it's not the book that makes the difference. It's having an actual plan to make your income stream to make $1 million with or without the book. I'm done here. I'm going to keep moving because I could talk about this. This is the stuff that I coach my clients on, is what will actually work to create millions of dollars. Some people become millionaires with their book? Yes. Go ask J.K. Rowling. Go ask these big time authors. Yes, and absolutely. Do some people become millionaires through their music? Yes, and absolutely. It happens to many different people. But if you want like more of a strategic, surefire way to become a millionaire, you usually need to have a much bigger plan than just the book. And even those people who have music and books and have become multi-millionaires, and some of them even billionaires out of those assets, it's not just because of the book. Look at J.K. Rowling. It wasn't just the book. It was the book and the movie and the merchandise behind Harry Potter. Look at Star Wars. The merchandise is, I don't know what the percentage is. My husband follows Star Wars and he tells me all these stats all the time. He's like, it's the merchandise that's making them the money out there. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, capital gains income. Capital gains income is the type of income that you get from selling an asset that has appreciated in value. For example, selling your house, selling stocks. Usually there's lower taxes on capital gains income because different countries have it structured in different ways. Now, we have listeners to this podcast all over the world, right? So some of you guys are based in the USA, some of you are based in Canada, some of you are based in UK, Africa, just all over the place. And so I just want to say that it is obviously going to be very different. In fact, everything I've said related to the taxing of this stuff is very different depending on the country that you live in. Now, one of the things about capital gains income is often with capital gains income, you don't often have control over that. Like, you can't control the real estate market. You can't control a stock for another company. You can kind of have some control over it when it's your own company and you have a say in making it grow. But often for most people, you don't have a say in what happens with that company. So it could grow in value, but it could also decrease in value, and you need to be aware of that. And then the other thing that I want to say overall, so these are the 8 different sections of this type of income. Now, one thing I want to say about this is less is more. So a lot of people listening to this, you've written it all down and you're like, all right, it's time for me to get my 11 streams of income. It's time for me to get my 8 streams of income. I want you guys to know I created this path to create these different streams of income, but I had a method for getting there that would actually help me to get there and not burn myself out trying to do everything at once. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, okay? I didn't just jump into this game. Sorry, y'all, I need water. Big bottle. All right. I didn't just jump into the game and go, yay, let's do all the things. And this is one of the biggest things that I coach our clients on, because so many people want to do everything and they end up doing nothing. And it is so important the order you take in creating these streams of income. Some of these streams I literally just found out, like, oh my gosh, we have that. Or, oh my gosh, we can do that one now. Like, I had a very specific focus, and I teach my clients to have a very specific pathway and focus in order to create the different streams of income, because the biggest mistake most people make is they try to do all of them at once, or they go out of order. So for example, I showed you guys one of the ways that people go out of order, which is I'm going to start with the book. And then they end up saying, oh my gosh, I've spent the last 3 years trying to push this book and it's making me little pennies. And I'm like, well, duh. It's because you started with the wrong thing. I don't actually say, well, duh, but it's just like, it breaks my heart, which is why I'm bringing it to you guys, so that none of you guys are going down this path doing it in the wrong order. And please understand, the order in which I shared this list is not the order in which I created these streams of income. This is just the order. It's a random order that I just put the list down because of the order in which I checked our accounts. So I really, because I know people try to like DIY this stuff, and then you DIY it and you DIY yourself into a worse corner than when you started. So I've given so many caveats in this episode. You people should be thanking me, because otherwise I would have just told you and you would think that it's just the way it is. There's many layers to this, as you guys can see. It's simple when you understand it, but there are many layers. And if you don't study to understand it, you can mess it up real quick. Okay, so what did I do? Or what would I suggest for you to do? I would suggest for you to tuck and learn. And what do I mean by that? I remember one of my mentors told me that when he had joined the army, he wanted to be like one of the best. And he learned that the best way to become the best in his group was to find the ace, tuck, and learn. And I'm probably saying the language so wrong, but essentially find somebody who started where you are and is able to walk you where you're going. So for example, they may not have started where you are. They may have been through your part of the process. So some of you may be starting from ground zero. Some of you guys are starting from $1 million. Some of you are starting from a couple $100,000. Wherever it is, make sure it's someone who understands where you're starting and understands how to make that apply to the big picture of where you're trying to go. So tuck and learn. This is how we were able to build this level of time freedom, was because I made the decision to get in the room. There are things that we have now created that have allowed me to be able to take 11 months off of my business, which is what I did earlier this year. 11 months off of my business to do it really part-time, like less than part-time, and not have to think about how our bills were going to be paid. And I was so grateful for that. And a lot of my coaches know me. I say this to my coaches. I'm always like, we built our own bank. Like, I am my own bank. And it's like, you want to be at that place where you are your own bank because you took the time to learn in the process of growing your wealth. So even though we literally became millionaires, I think 2 years ago, end of 2019 was when we, maybe earlier, mid 2019 was when we crossed the $1 million mark. But even though that's when we crossed the $1 million mark, we've made even that money like risk after itself to create more within itself. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. And I want to say as well, you do need earned income. Right? You do need to have a business that is producing stable income, a job that is producing stable income, but you cannot stay there if you plan on creating a millionaire reality or lifestyle. So here are some questions that I want you to ask yourself. And I want you to be very honest with yourself in these questions. And I would love for you guys, the one thing about podcasts is I'm so used to having conversation with my people. And so as you're listening to this, I want you to put your answers in the chat, put it in the comments, put it in whatever the platform allows you to type your stuff into so that we can start some conversation, okay? So here's the first question I want you to answer. Okay, what are the different sources of income that you have right now? So write that down in the chat, in the comments, in whatever area you can. Different sources of income you have right now. Which sources of income do you want to have? So what is on your wish list? I want to have this type of income. And then what should be the very next income stream for you to create right now? So what should be the next one for you? And then the third or fourth question, I don't know, I'm not tracking it. But the next question for you is, have you tried to create a new stream? And what are you noticing? So what patterns have been keeping you from building? Oh, wait. No, there's two questions here. So one of them is, what patterns have been keeping you from scaling the different streams of income? But then the second question is, what patterns are impacting you when you try to go from that earned income into the multiple streams? What are you noticing? Is it a matter of I save and then I use the money, I save and then I use the money? Is it a matter of I'm not earning enough to cover everything? And so yes, I'm earning income, but it doesn't give me enough to begin to say, okay, let's multiply this bad boy. What is the thing that you're noticing? Or I just don't really know which stream to step into. And that's what's been holding me back from going into the next one. Whatever that thing is, what I would love for you guys to do is book a call with myself and my team. Let's have a conversation. moneymindsetShift.ca/call. And in this conversation, what we're going to be looking at is exactly what you do have working for you financially. So what are the streams of income you have right now? How have they been working for you? How long have they been working for you? And then the second thing that we're going to look at is, what is the next level for you? So what is the dream? What is the desire? What is the next goal for your income building? And this applies whether you are in a job, whether you're in a business, whether you're running your own thing. And also, I'm going to say this, doesn't matter whether you run an online business, a brick and mortar business, a service-based business, whatever it is, book the call. Let's have a look at what's been working, where you want to be, what has created the gap. So what is keeping you from getting there and why you are not where you want to be right now today. And then we'll have a look at whether or not we are able to actually help you to bridge that gap. And guys, you already know this. We are 100% straight up with you. If we can show you how to do it, we'll tell you how. If we don't think we're the best people to help you do it, we're just going to tell you that as well. Why? Because our desire is to actually tangibly see results in the lives of the people that we work with. So obviously, based on that, we ain't going to work with you if we don't think we can actually help you get those results. It's a completely free conversation, and you are able to get that sort of impact and information and breakthrough really that you're looking for in your financial situation. So once again, that link is moneymindsetShift.ca/call. moneymindsetShift.ca/call. I look forward to having a conversation with you guys inside the room and getting into the juiciness of what your streams of income are, what's the next level for you, what's the next stream for you, how you're making your money grow. Put it in the comments and we will see you next Wednesday on the next show. Bye, everybody. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here or visit moneymindset.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.